The Cache Valley Media Group's countdown of the top 25 Aggie football players of 2023. At number 25 is Broc Lane. He is a tight end, has been with the Aggies 2 years, a 2-year letter winner. He is from Chandler, Arizona. Number 25 on the list, Broc Lane, tight end.
So yeah, Broc Lane coming in at number 25 on our list at the tight end position. I had him a lot higher. Maybe because of my point values, he's what helps him sneak into the top 25. But I'm pretty high on Broc Lane, not really based on past production, but what I believe could be future results. Just based on his physical ability, I think he's the best pass-catching tight end of the group. And just we haven't seen the full Broc Lane unlocked just yet because of injuries and a few other things. And I think this could be a really big year for him.
I think that really is the story for Broc Lane. I had him a little further into the top 25, not super high, but yeah, you're talking about a guy who might be a backup tight end, but there's a lot of hype surrounding his ability as a pass catcher. And everybody around this team wants them to have a pass-catching tight end. They had several for a few years, kind of in the late 2010s. Haven't really had one since Caleb Rep. So Broc Lane's kind of the hope for that, an athletic pass-catching tight end. We've seen glimpses of it, but haven't really seen him break out for a couple of reasons, injuries being one of those.
I think that because of some of the things that we've seen in fall camp or in spring, he shows me that he is the best pass-catching tight end of the group, but we just haven't seen a lot of him in games because of the injury bug. We saw him in 6 games in 2020, a couple of receptions, few yards. In 2020, he missed all of 21, and we started to see him a little bit more in 2022, but again, limited role. 9 games, which he saw action, 6 receptions, 39 yards, and a touchdown. But he also was kind of the designated up man on a lot of kickoffs when teams wanted to avoid the returns that Utah State could impose upon them. Broc Lane seemed to get involved in those, so he has good hands, has a good eye for what's ahead of him, and that's why I think that he deserves to be in the top 25.
Yeah, I think he could definitely have an impact. He could end up being the starting tight end. Now, in spring, he was kind of the starting tight end for a while. He actually did get banged up toward the end. To where they think it was Will Money had to be the starting tight end, but Josh Sturzer was out for much of spring ball. So we got to see a lot of Broc Lane and how they would use him, and they were like splitting him out as a wide out and having him line up in that more traditional tight end lineup. So I think that's where Broc Lane can be valuable, is a guy who can split out wide and be a tight end, where we haven't, again, seen that from really anybody at the tight end position for several years.
It's a position that is really versatile and can be used in a lot of different ways. It's a position that sometimes can get lost on just the viewing public, because if you're in an offense that uses them as just another extension of your offensive line, they still play an important role in pass blocking, in creating run gaps for your running backs. But we can see that it can be a very dynamic position when utilized in the passing game as well. 6'4", 245 pounds. He's got a big body, good physical frame. Wears number 87 on the field and could play an important role for Utah State in its passing game, and just how they utilize the tight end in various different positions on that offensive front.
Yeah, he put on a bit of weight over the offseason. I think it was 5 or 10 pounds. He's a bit bulkier than he was before. And you mentioned the versatility. The tight end, especially the modern tight ends, they are there to create matchup problems. They are there to force defenses into awkward situations, make the hard choice of, do I put a guy out there who can do pass coverage against the tight end where they're quick enough to keep up with him, or do I put in maybe a bigger guy who maybe can't keep up with the passing but can do run stopping. A good tight end will be able to catch and block, because that's the biggest amount of versatility, where an offense can seamlessly go from a more pass oriented formation to a more run oriented formation, and end up running or passing out of both of those formations. Utah State hasn't had that threat in the past. They haven't been able to utilize that aspect of the tight end because of a lack of versatility at that position. Maybe Broc Lane will be able to bring that. We'll see.
We'll see. So exciting things to come for number 87 and number 25 on our list, Broc Lane, tight end for Utah State.